Yep, and not a single scratch. Alright, we got another zombie showed up. This would also be like, this would be, you know, just dumb ways to die. You go out in the middle of a tropical storm and start sawing planks of wood. Like, planks of wood are like one of just the MOs for things that storms chuck that do all sorts of damage. It's like you're making, effectively, ballistic missiles for the storm in the storm. Okay. That was ominous fog. Like, it's not like it just, like, fogged. It's like, it's fogging like someone turned the sun off for a minute. Yeah, that was like, what is this voodoo going on? And honestly, the amount you're seeing this character run, like, genuinely, is probably like the most this character's run. Like, I think we only had like one or two other days we ran at any meaningful amount. I mean, you can look at the skills that we have here. That I've got all these skills that are maxed out or hitting 7 or 8 or anything like that, and then sprinting is at 2. Just shows you how little we run. And honestly, the Lightfoot and sneaking, the only reason we got those is very, very early in the game. I kept running out of weapons because that's just the way this run goes when you're dealing with this many zombies before you have maintenance skill. So I ended up having to like forage for stuff. And so I was putting us into crouching to like move around to slow us down for foraging. And just the light, like the sneaking and light-footed points were just like flying in because of how many zombies were in the area. Honestly, for a tropical storm, this hasn't been that bad. Like last night in game was like the storm was super awful, but it didn't matter. We were asleep. And that said, I did have one run where I did a death trait run, which for the death trait you literally cannot hear anything in game. And we did that, and we got caught out at night in a tropical storm one time because you can't listen to the radio to get the weather forecast in this game when you're deaf. So I was walking around, and it's like, it's getting super duper rainy and super duper dark, and I'm trying to get home. I'm too slow, it's nighttime. And so you can imagine the screen is like pretty much pitch black for me. Like even chat with my brightening the screen is like, we can't see anything. Like, just like literally we can't see anything. You might as well be staring at a black screen. And like, yep, no, I know. And we're out there and we're deaf, so you can't hear anything, like literally no sound. You can't see anything, and you're just standing here just like holding your weapon. I was like, I can't get home. I can't find home. And we had to stand out in this tropical storm all night, just with our weapon up, just like hoping if a zombie showed up, we would, you know, see the green outline to hit it. Luckily, nothing happened, but it was one of the most like stressful times I've had in Project Zomboid. Just being like, there's nothing I can do. I'm not in control of the situation. We're just hoping if a zombie shows up, it's kind enough to show up directly in the direction I'm facing. Oh yeah, 100%. I was like sitting there just like ready to just click the moment I saw a green outline and hope it worked out. You know, of course, then you're out all night. So by the time like daylight showed up, you're ridiculously tired. It was an experience. It very much taught me like def runs, like do not stay out too late. Ever. Just assume every day some nasty storm is going to roll in and make it impossible to see at night. It's also one of the few playthroughs I'm like, no, really, I'm actually going to carry a flashlight now because I almost never will. And that one is like, no, I have to have a flashlight. If we get caught out in the dark, like, this is my saving grace. I remember that run lasted a long time. Like, it was at least a good 3+ months. It was a good long run, too. And I'd want to say when we died on the character, it wasn't even anything related to like death. Like the death trait, the idea is a zombie can get up behind you, you don't hear it in time, and it's just too late. I don't even think it was something like that. I think it was just like literally we were fighting and just messed up the fight or something, and it got us killed. Not gonna lie, this tropical storm, little underwhelming. I do feel like the Weather Channel we were tuned into kind of oversold it. This is my longest run on stream, yes. The longest prior to this was, ooh. Actually, probably the longest prior to this would probably be the longest command. I don't remember how long it was. I want to say it was like 8 months, maybe? The really CDDA, I think, was something like 8 months. Maybe? Maybe 6? I'm going to find out on my own channel by typing the command. Six months, 19 days. Okay. So what am I building here? Right now, I'm mostly just putting the floor down so that the trees can't grow here and all that. Yeah, no, it's so foggy. But I'm ultimately, you'll notice there's like cabinets up here by that truck. I'm gonna make like these 3 little carports that I'm gonna put spare parts for heavy cars, regular cars, and sports cars in there. And that way, like when I have to go and repair a vehicle, instead of just having all the parts just dumped on the floor, I can just pull it into place. Much better. Yeah, so I'll have this, and it'll like come down along the side of the vehicle, so I can just go up there, you know, grab the wheel, yank off the tire, go to the shelves that are full of tires, grab whichever tire's in the best shape. Because we're going to be doing this run for a while, so I'm going to go through wearing out some cars and having to fix them up again. Like that fire truck is the one we've been working on. Mostly, we're just doing this to kill time while the storm is here. Yeah, game makes you cautious with your environment. Like, honestly, trees in this game are the worst. They're evil. Never trust a tree. It will always betray you. Like, real life, trees are awesome. In this game, never trust a tree. They're out to get you. They'll wait for your moment of weakness and they'll strike. That's one reason why, like, you've probably noticed nearby my base, I make sure there's no trees anywhere in real close proximity to the base. I want to be able to see the zombies that are nearby my base for as far away as possible. Because in my opinion, the best way to set up a very defensible location, it's not doing stuff like going on the second floor, knocking out the stairs, and doing rope ladders or any of that silly stuff like that. That all works. Like, that's great and all. If the zombies are already at your location, in my opinion, the best way to make a very defensible location is you just very routinely go and as far out perimeters, like as far as you can see from your base, kill any zombies in the area, and then knock down any trees or any obstacles as best you can to give you line of sight as far on your base. Because usually when you do that, most of the time the zombies won't like move from the other side of the map all the way over here and then start banging on your wall. Like they'll usually move a little bit up here and then they'll stand here one day and then they'll move up and they'll stand there next day. So you can kind of find the zombies before they're in your lap. There's exceptions, like when there's a meta event and stuff like that, it doesn't quite hold true, but otherwise. Yeah, mostly we're doing the carpentry to kill time. That's kind of what I do, is when the weather is crap, we work on our base, we work on our skills, that kind of stuff. That's just what we do. Alright, I think what I'm going to do for a little bit is we're going to go... I actually still need to get a TV. That is one thing I still have not done. Because, like, we have looted maybe a dozen houses this entire run. Like, this run, for being a full year 16 days in, we've looted maybe like 12 or so houses, a couple of businesses, and that's about it. Like, actually, I'll even show you. Pull up the map real fast. So, you see how much of the map we've revealed? Like, I have this all showing just because then when people ask questions, they'll be like, oh, that's West Point, that's over here, oh, there's a thing up there. But, like, if we actually look at this, I spawned inside the pharmacy at Ekron. I have Pillow's random spawn mod, so I didn't get to choose it, dropped us there. So he's looted all the buildings that have circles here. Like, the way our run went is we spawned here, we looted this place. Because I'm at 16x pop, I got evicted from town, because there's just, you don't have the weapons to fight it. So I looted that down there, and I looted this down here. We fought and took this area. Eventually we looted these buildings that have the circles. Never touched any of the buildings down here, never touched these other houses. Didn't bother with the bar or anything like that in the front. That's it. Didn't go to these farms. We went to the country club. This building had nothing in it, so we marked it as looted. We looted part of the house we were in. Didn't loot any other buildings in a meaningful way. Same thing. And when I say didn't loot, I didn't like clear it out of good stuff. Like I might have grabbed one or two things and left, but I didn't go in most. Like I didn't go into a single trailer or anything over here. We looted some of these storage units just so we had a place to stay. I took some weapons out of the warehouse. I looted that house because we slept there. Didn't walk into, I think we walked into like one or two other houses to sleep one or two nights, and I always didn't loot any of this. So if people are like, oh, can you survive without like, without looting? It's like, yeah, I mean, you really can. There's like one or two things you need. Like you need to find a saw. Like a saw is a necessary thing for you realistically to survive long term. But once you get like a saw, something that can hold an amount of water, like a cooking pot, like two or three other things, you can live entirely in the wilderness for the entire rest of the game and never go step foot in town again or in a house again. And like really half those other houses that we looted, we only looted them because we're like, okay, well I'm trying to work on carpentry or metalworking or whatever. All right, so I need to take apart some stoves and some fridges and stuff. Okay, well I have to go into a house for it. That kind of thing. Can we break? Oh. Oh, saws do not break. Anything that doesn't have condition on it never breaks. So like your saw will never break. If you're using a screwdriver for electronics, it will never break. If you use it as a weapon, it will. Hammers will eventually break. Axes will eventually break. The propane torch, I don't believe will ever break, but it can run out of fuel, but you can just refuel it. Trying to even think what other tools there are that aren't just other categories of what I already mentioned. The sewing needle can never break. Wrenches never break as long as you're using it as a tool. That sounds right. That shovels and garden forks, all those things won't break if you're using them for gardening and not as a weapon. Yeah, so in this run we are planning on wiping out all the cities. I am also planning on, wiping out Redacted, that is southwest of Rosewood. If you do not know what Redacted is and you want to get spoiled yourself, you can pull up the Project Zomboid map project and you can just look at it and go, oh, that's what it is. If you do know what it is, that's fine. I just kind of like to joke about calling it Redacted. It's fun. Probably build more cabinets with the next one, so I can start clearing that stuff up. I also want to get my hands on, if we go find a Spiffo restaurant, they have the largest trash cans in the game. Hey, wait a second. Probably will find those. Oh, does the edge of the walls need a post? Maybe. Generally speaking, so the way I approach the walls now, because it's really finicky whether or not to count something as inside or not, is I'll build the whole set of walls around the base, and then I'll try and add posts after the fact. And like, if the posts actually work, then you put them. If it won't let you place the posts, then you don't. Because the game is really picky about what it considers inside and not inside. Not that I'm worried about that fence being considered inside at any point. Yeah, I've fought with that a lot, and the reason why inside matters is, sure, there's the warmth for the winter, but the big reason why I care about inside and outside is if you notice where I had the rain barrels on the roof of my building, you can plumb those to a sink, and when you do, the sink gets fresh water. You don't have to boil it or anything. But it has to be a sink you've placed inside. And the rain barrel has to be above the sink and off to any one direction. So not straight above the sink, but just any direction and above. I'm not going to be able to carry all these planks. I'm going to be leaving one plank on the ground. That's fine. We live with it. And like, if you're like, that doesn't make sense, I don't understand what you've just told me about these rain barrels. It's very difficult to explain. That is, like, normally I'll like talk through everything and I can try, But that's what I was like, no, actually, you probably do want to look at a video someone made for that, just because being able to visualize it is much easier than trying to like show relative orientations and all that. Was Star Sector the game that Ziggy actually has an Easter egg character in that game that the devs put that in, or was that a different game I'm thinking about? Because I vaguely remember, like, I think it was him and Amy both had characters in it. And it was something like his character was very dangerous, like up close explosives, friendly fire kind of thing. I think it was something like Amy's character was effectively someone who kind of reined that in to be not as chaotic. I could be thinking an entirely different game, though. I might be thinking the wrong game is what the problem might be. I'm probably thinking the wrong game because it was something like it was a special like NPC captain or whatever that had special bonuses and everything. I'm probably thinking the wrong game. Maybe it was Star Valor was the game I'm thinking of. I don't remember. I just remember there's a cool thing that like just the dev was amused and was like, oh yeah, we'll make a character, and then like Ziggy worked with them or whatever. I thought that was neat that the dev did that. I just don't remember what game it was. Yeah, so it'd be that. So it's basically the way the character improved the ship. Was good, but also kind of self-destructive as well, so dangerous. I may not have thought this design out as much as I thought I had. Oh yeah, there's a reason why some people call this game Cursed Sims. Yep, this is a problem. Crap. Alright, we can fix this. Oh, quality crafted counter. I didn't see that actually says like quality there. Nice. There, that'll be better. Because now I can pull it in here. I can start putting the parts in all these different cabinets and all that. And make your life much easier. Because then when it's like, oh, I need my windshields, I come over to the windshield corner, and that's where the windshields are. Alright, so let's grab the standard gas tank, muffler, grab it. Oh, that's not going to happen, muffler. And as I break parts, I'll label these as well. Let's see. Golden says, so sad when the game that's good can't go on because financial issues. Lulu says, when I see your character reassemble a car and then the car barely survives 5 days without dying, makes me feel bad. Yeah. Alright, so these doors and all that are really heavy. Yeah, so I can only fit like 2 doors in a shelf. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm literally just going to take the doors over here and plunk those on the ground. And just have the door corner. Now, you were mentioning the, like, games that have financial issues not be able to continue. We're referring to Star Sector that, like, they, I guess, ran out of money or something, or I just, like, you're playing a round of Star Sector and that happens. 'Cause that'd be a bummer if, like, the game was going well and that's just, like, whatever, it didn't happen. Goldier says, the first hours I'm having a hard time with Apocalypse Standard. Now play Insane Pop because I got bored and bored finding a little horde. Yep. Yeah, I find generally speaking, for most people it's like, oh, they're starting their first round. There'll be people like, oh, play Insane Pop. It's like, no. Just like play whatever you want, but I see Apocalypse as kind of like the baseline setting for the game. And that is, again, if you turn it down, however you're playing the game and you're having fun, congratulations, you're playing it correctly. But it's kind of like, start here, like start at Apocalypse, play a little bit, get a feel for it, and if you're having a good time with what you're doing, keep doing that. If not, you know, adjust the settings. All right, so how are we doing this? Because these are all really heavy. I guess you just grab a bunch. Like, that's the biggest part of doing the auto mechanic stuff is, like, where do you put the stuff? Like, when they get beaten up enough, I just throw them in the trash and delete them from existence. But, you know. Oh, there's an old muffler here still. Another old muffler. A chair. Let's see, Goy says, yeah, you and Nurse are few people make short blade makes reasonable to You and Nurse are few people make short blade makes reasonable to use. I always hear short blade is not good from other video streamers. Yeah, there's I've actually had people argue that like short blade is basically suicide. I mean, just period. Like that happens on Reddit all the time. And I disagree. Now, there is a thing, and we got a clip from it last time on stream, that it seems like very rarely when you execute, something can go wrong that it doesn't stop the zombie from attacking. And like that was the very first time I experienced it that I could think of was last stream that I ran into it. Like there was another time we had something similar, but it was not the same animation. Like our character, like we were kind of like me and the zombie were at a neutral state. We were both shoving each other, not doing anything was the previous one. Whereas this was very clearly the zombie had gone for the grab and we had defended ourselves from the grab. That kind of worries me. But I mean, I've executed thousands and thousands and thousands of zombies without a problem. Ah, bazooka. So the thing that the short blades, the magic of the short blade, what makes it so powerful, is the short blade's stamina uses is very negligible unless you're talking about the meat cleaver, which the meat cleaver is, in my opinion, a weapon with an identity crisis. You know, it's a short blade, but it wants to be an axe, but it's bad at doing either. But if you take like the hunting knife for example, I could have 400 or 500 zombies here, and I will whittle down the pack of all 400 or 500 zombies and never go to exerted. And that's the magic of the short blade. So, short blade is huge for when you're talking about like really high zombie pop runs. Because any other weapon, like if I'm using an axe, I kill like 1 or 2 hordes, and then I'm, exerted. And it's like, okay, well, now I need to back off. Except I'm playing at, 16x pop. There is no back off. If I move anywhere else, I'm just more zombies. So just, my only choice is to continue to, like, keep fighting kind of thing. Alright, so I'm going to try doing is go place, item. Because I'm trying to avoid having it more than 3 storage, because from 3 storage, if I stand at the mill one, I can reach all of them. As I can't. So I don't have enough capacity yet for all of these doors and such in the ground. Okay, so there is one more tire down here. Yeah, so I don't have anywhere I can store all these doors. Can I put this on top of those? Oh, that's cool. I'm glad that is a thing. Oh. I feel like I got what was not advertised to me here. I don't care. I don't like that the textures do that sometimes, but it is what it is. No, we have a muffler on us. Oops. We should also check the weather, see if the tropical storm is going to stay away today, like after this point. I do think we're at the point that I'm not expecting to see more tropical storm, so then we could potentially push a little bit more tomorrow. There we go. Got this put away, grab this. Alright, we need to fuel that up. That's not a surprise. Okay. I like this kind of stream, like no racist on weapons, foods, etc. I don't know, just feel chill. Well, and that's like very deliberate. We go for the chill vibe. But yeah, no, like my opinion in Project Zomboid right now, all the games are in like a fairly decent place. And while I certainly am someone who'd say, you know what, I do feel like the spear, for example, I do feel like it could use a small tweak down. We're talking like 5% reduced attack speed, and even then, like, as much as I love short blades, I will concede that they probably could use a small increase in stamina consumption. It's tricky though, because that's one of those ones that the teeniest tiniest overcorrection takes them from being pretty good and having their niche to something you'd never use ever. So it's risky kind of thing. But yeah, I do think all the weapons are actually in not that bad of a place in the game. Let's just grab the potatoes. Yeah, I find most of the streams that I hop into with Project Zomboid that people are pretty chill about stuff. Like, I haven't hit too many streams where the person's like, no, you play this way, this is awful, why would you do that? You're doing it easy mode. Like that kind of nonsense. And, like, don't get me wrong, there's lots of stuff that people do to make things easier for themselves that I won't do, but it's like, hey, you know, you do what you want. It's, like, most of the time you're playing it solo, like, who cares what you're doing in your solo game? It doesn't affect anyone but you. Where did my bowl go? Okay, so tomorrow. What's the weather say for tomorrow so far as storm? I want you to tell me moderate... that's fine. We might just put up with it. Yes. 25 tiles. At least that's what I believe I recall. It's 25 tiles around the generator. It will power. Which is why the generator is positioned where it is up there. It's close enough to those fuel pumps to work. It's close enough to these ice coolers to work. Hey, Corrupted Cactus, gifting some subs.
Corrupted_Cactus has gifted 2 subs to viewers.
So thank you so much for the gifting those subs, Corrupted Cactus. I really do appreciate that. And Yog in Pieces and Chesty Larue, congratulations. You now have yourself advertisement previewing of this channel, as well as you also have access to our emotes, whether you liked them or not. Thank you again for that support. I really do appreciate it. Lulu's, having a vegetarian diet affect you in this game? Yes. So basically what happens is food in this game has like a calorie count to it. Now, if you're eating just vegetables, nothing but vegetables, you'll end up basically starving to death from malnutrition in this. Because you see how I've got this down echelon here that's saying I'm losing weight? The problem with this game is to survive on vegetables alone. I can't remember. Someone did the math. It's some absurd number of cabbage you have to eat a day. Like, you have to, like, grow this entire area of cabbage and then just shovel them in your mouth as fast as possible to even get net positive in weight gain with cabbage and that. So generally speaking, you are going to mix in some like fish or meat or something into your diet. You can survive solely on vegetables, it's just very impractical. Corrupted Cactus says, of course. I have been lurking and listening and I am loving the channel. Thank you so much, I really do appreciate it. And as a reminder for everyone who has been enjoying the stream, who hasn't done so already, if you'd like to find your way back here at some point, you might want to drop a follow, because that's the easiest way to find your way back. We are fast forwarding for a minute, because it is too early for us to sleep. I do think even though in-game we're supposed to, supposed to have, just heavy rain tomorrow, probably just going to keep going. Yeah, Goldie says, yeah, chips hoard if no trapping skills. Yeah, there's junk food in that you can do. Like you can hoard chips, you can get lots of melted ice cream, you can find stuff like oats and cereal, and we woke up having a nightmare. That's helpful. And that is why we keep our sleeping tablets. Because then we take our little druggy drugs, stand here in the corner, and when those kick in, we go back to bed. Lou says, I mean, it's the same in real life. If you only eat salad, you'll have tons per day. Yes. Like, to get the necessary amount of calories from salad, you gotta scarf some salad pretty hard. Or it's gotta be a salad that's got, like, all the fixins, like meats and cheeses, or just a ridiculous amount of dressings. Or, beans, or just something to get the calories in there. Cyber Angel says, my character just lost the overweight trait. Free points for me. Oh yeah, that's we actually, like, this character I started as obese, weak, and unfit. Those are all fixable. Now that said, for anyone who looks at my build and says, hey, like, is that a good build? Like, how should, is that a good one I should do? It's like, no. This is objectively a bad build. Starting the game with 0 strength and 0 fitness, you have to survive long enough for it to matter. And yeah, it's good. It's not easy to survive with that many penalties so far as your fitness and all that. All right, there we go. We are drowsy. Go back to sleep.